to Profit. So excited to learn more about Sharon's networking tips today. Yeah, I'm going to be digging into her brain too to see what else I can use. But I will hope you guys are excited as well to see how Sharon has spent 15 years using networking to help build her business, help her marketing, just help her confidence. And if you guys are excited about that and you're here, drop a me in the comments. Let us know you're here. And if you're live, if you catch the replay, hashtag replay, and you can always let us know your questions as well. But for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Heidi. I'm a social media marketing strategist, and I love to help established entrepreneurs and coaches like you with the social selling side of things. We're not talking about cold pitching in DM. But Sharon here, she is the founder and the host of Women's Business Network. Now, the WBN is a membership community for female-based, and I want to hold on, guys, if you're here, these tips are going to work for you too. It's not all for the ladies, but it's focused. Her network, though, is focused on providing support to women in business who want to work on their confidence, their self-belief, and increase their business knowledge, and just provide a safe space where you can actually feel powerful in your own skin, really. I mean, Sharon, thanks so much for being here today and sharing with us. And as you give us a quick hi, tell us about Greece, which you just got back from.
Hi, Heidi. It's great to be here. Really exciting. My first LinkedIn Live, so I'm a newbie to this. But yes, just back on Tuesday morning from Cyprus. So the weather was slightly better there than it is here. It's freezing here today. It's about -2. So I've gone from sort of 20 degrees to -2 in the space of a couple of days. So a bit of a shock to the system, I have to say.
Are you just want to turn the plane around?
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned to me that you were working to learn Greek. How's that going?
Well, yes, after 25 years of traveling to Cyprus, everybody's always said that don't even bother to try because it's such a difficult language to learn. But I set myself a goal last year, was I wanted to at least be able to try and string a sentence together. I'm getting there slowly. I'm using the Duolingo app that many of you, I know there's millions of people using it. So it's just getting me a little bit more familiar. I'm recognizing words now. I'm not at the point or anywhere near of being able to hold a conversation, but who knows? Watch this space. I'm persevering. I'm 278 days in. So
oh, that's almost a year. Congrats on that. Getting there. I mean, I am working to learn Portuguese, so I understand some of these languages are very difficult. But did you challenge yourself and use it while you were in Greece?
Yeah, we use the odd words and what have you, and we try.
Honestly, that is the only way to learn it is to screw it up and get it wrong and let them laugh at you, because they will.
Everybody just speaks to you in English, though, so that you don't even get a chance to practice, because
we have that problem here, and that's what's made it harder to learn the language because of them just switching immediately. But we've gotten good at asking them to switch back, or we go ahead and let them speak in English and we reply back in Portuguese. It really helps. All right, but everything we're going to be sharing here today, I'm going to go back to the old adage. It's not going to be all Greek. So if you aren't already connected with Sharon, make sure you do. She drops some really good content on connecting and networking and stuff like that. And I know that, like I said, guys, these tips will work for you too. You might have to be a little imaginative, but it'll work for you as well. And for the women, plus it's for the women in your life. I mean, I know you're here, you want to support them. They can benefit from a strong network. Have them connect with Sharon because she can help make that happen. And as we dive in, if anybody's here live, tell us in the comments how many of you find it sometimes hard to feel a bit supportive in your business or professional life because you don't have people in your life who get it. They don't get what you're doing. I mean, a lot of us are first-time business owners, or maybe we've moved up the management chain at work, and the people in our life don't necessarily always get it. So let us know in the comments if anybody's here, if you got questions, thoughts, but have you felt supported in that? Now, Sharon, I know that you have built multiple businesses over 15 years. I mean, we have that comment. I got 25 on you. I got extra 10 on you, but you built multiple businesses. But I know you contribute a lot of your success to the mentors and the friends who helped you in those early years. Tell us about that and what that looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started out 15 years ago with, I wasn't one of these aspiring to be a business owner. It was basically a victim of circumstance that I'd been made redundant. I was working at a bank and had taken voluntary redundancy. I had 2 young children at home. I was supporting my husband in his business, and then the recession basically came along and just really impacted his business. And we were both obviously working for the same business. So it was a case of either go and get another job, or I thought, I know, I'll go for an easier option. I'll start a business, which obviously in hindsight, I know that I was perhaps very naive at the time. But obviously the disadvantage of that was literally starting a business from scratch. You've got no clients, not particularly any contacts. All I'd got was a skill set of being really very organised, sort of a back support, business support sort of skills that I knew that would translate to many people in business who needed that kind of support, who were very good at what they did, but weren't necessarily good when it came to all the back office, the systems, the admin, that sort of thing. But yeah, I just didn't have any clients or contacts. So I literally started from a complete standing start, limped along for the first few months. And then I just recalled my brother going to very early morning breakfast meetings, picking up business. And I thought, right, I need to find out what that's all about. And that's where it all started, and very, very quickly changed once you get into networking, because like I say, those friends and mentors that I made in the early days really made that difference to me. Because I think had I, well, for a start, if I hadn't discovered networking, I'd have probably given up and got a job. And it was the contacts and connections that I made through networking that transformed, and that's why I'm still in business 15 years on.
I love networking. I mean, I've been raving about the summit I did last night, where I did a networking thing. But a question popped when you said that. I'm curious, just to show people, because I know that even for me, once I got into networking and pulled in that support, I landed clients and started getting successful in business so much faster. So you went to that first meeting with your brother. How long after that did you actually start getting clients and feeling supported?
It was really quickly, to be honest. I mean, I remember going along to that first meeting. I went along on my own. So I sort of hit the internet, found a women's only group, went along. And to be honest, I actually, not at the time of that meeting, but from the very first person I spoke to at the very first meeting, I actually met, I was introduced to a lady who became a business partner and offered me a 50% share in her business. So yeah, whilst that didn't happen probably for about 6 months, but I sort of went round and did the rounds, found the right group for me, where I felt comfortable and where was the right fit. And within a few weeks, the people that I started to get to know started to ask me to help them, and it sort of all snowballed from there, really.
Yeah, and I think and you mentioned a really key thing, and this is part of the strategy I even teach on networking, is you must find the right events. And it's like you said, and you have to try out a few to do that.
Yeah. And I think any groups that want you to join before you've even sampled what they've got to offer, I think that's a real no-no for me, because you want to go along and see if it's the right fit, see what's on offer and whether it's right for you. So yeah, I think that is really important. And I think that's why many people sort of perhaps dip their toe into networking, have a bad experience, and then just decide networking doesn't work for them. And so that's it. They just give up, and so yeah, it is really sad that they have those bad experiences and then miss out on all the opportunities that there is to gain.
I know. I'm just thinking. If I had stopped with a couple of the bad ones I've been to, I mean, and yet the blessings I've gotten because I didn't. But yeah, you're right. I mean, people get burnt because end up in a bad one, whether it's toxic environment or things just don't go well, and because you didn't know and you didn't pick the right ones. But a little practice, a little skill, or you hook up with people like us who can go ahead and get you the strategy to find in those places faster. Skip that. But I'm just why we're on that topic because hey, I don't always want to portray the good side of things too. What is some of the bad things that you have experienced in a networking event?
I don't think I've got anything awful I can say that has scarred me or whatever. But I know I've certainly been to meetings where I've come away and just felt that I've gained nothing. I've not really connected with anybody, or that perhaps as a woman in a very male orientated environment, people haven't wanted to speak to me because haven't felt that I'd have something of value for them. So yeah, I have experienced that, and I think in the early days as well, there was a lot of the corporate style networking around. Things have evolved. You've probably seen as well over the last 15 years, things have evolved a hell of a lot. Yeah, I haven't got any nasty stories I can tell you, but
I mean, my worst one was I went to one that was very toxic. It was very cliquish. It kind of felt like you were in high school. That was probably the worst one I've been to, and you'd already had the little groups, and you had the mean girls, and sitting there making little comments and snippy things the whole time, and I just walked away with such a bad taste on that one, and I had the opportunity, but that's probably been my worst one. But then the other thing is just the waste of time.
Yes.
I was talking about this last night on the summit, and was about how you can, and I think that's probably one of the big things that turns people away from networking events is they feel like it's a waste of time because they get on all these endless coffee chats. That's either someone trying to sell them, or you go in, there's no purpose. So you talk, it was nice, it was great, but nothing comes out of it. So what's your advice for avoiding that? I mean, I know I got mine, but what's your advice on this? Avoiding endless wasting time on coffee chats and just getting something out of your networking events.
I think it's all down to trying to find out and investigate what the event's all about and if that is going to be for you. So, like you say, if you want to make sure that there's going to be people in the room that are the type of people that you want to be mixing with. So I think very much it's down to research and try and sort of, if you can, if you're in a face-to-face environment, try not to get sort of stuck with one person for too long. I've been on networking talks and what have you where they tell you about how to stand so you're open to other people to join you and not being closed off, so that you can invite other people in if you need rescuing at any time. So
that's true. That is so true. And I know a lot because your membership, your networking membership, is online only, and I know you and I both focus on location independence lifestyles and businesses. And yes, all the tips we share here, guys, can be adapted to in person, but we focus on location independent businesses. So a lot of what we're going to give is from that point of view, just to let you know. And I do agree with Sharon here. It's about doing your homework ahead and see it. And always attest to, like, I'm very hesitant to go to groups and insist you pay for at least the first one. I like to at least go to the first one for free. Now we're not talking about big events and stuff, but we're talking about actual networking events. I like the option of having that free one to go in and test the room per se. I mean, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, before I've invested, and I think another thing too is how do you help? What's your strategy on this? Because you have a choice of free networking events or paid ones. What's your strategy on where do you do? Because I know I'm willing to spend money if it's going to benefit me. But also, I like a good free one here and there too.
Yeah. I mean, I like to give free opportunity for people to come along and do a taster session. I tend to say come 2-3 times, but then after that point, because of the value that we offer, and to make it fair for the paying members as well, that you don't want people just sort of just dropping in on a free ticket and basically almost getting a free membership. So it is just controlling that and ensuring that obviously as the members are receiving the value from the group and all the extra things that are available outside of the meetings, that the benefits that we give to our members as well.
Let's talk about that. I mean, what's included? I mean, the average networking events I've been to is, there'll be some trainings. Obviously, there's meetings where you actually get to introduce and pitch your services. You can gain all kinds of skills. Let's talk about that, because I know women struggling with confidence is one of your big things. Tell me how we gain confidence through networking events.
Yeah, I mean, with us, we're very much about providing that safe space. And I think, again, all of this stems from my own journey, really. So very much from a confidence point of view, just feeling that you're in a room where it is safe to just show up as yourself, be authentic. Because I think very often, I know myself, didn't feel that I was in certain environments where I could be myself. I'd have to feel as though I've got to put on a bit of a front and make out everything's wonderful, even if it isn't. So I've always tried to nurture that safe space to say, tell us as it is. If it's not going well, then speak up. We're all at different stages of our journey. So whatever you're going through, don't feel you're the only one who's ever experienced this, because the chances are anyone who's further ahead than you has been through a similar experience. So it is just about that safe space. And I think when you feel supported and you know that you can ask for that help and support, then you do start to gain your confidence. I always make sure that at every one of our meetings, we meet online twice a month on Zoom, and I always make sure at every meeting that every person gets an opportunity to speak. So whether it's doing a 60 seconds introduction, or on our one meeting of each month, we run a business clinic. So we do a check-in with everybody on the meeting to see how they are, how things are with their business. They can bring any challenges to the group then for us to discuss and brainstorm and what have you. So it's just creating that two-way conversation of them being able to ask for that help and support, which I just think is so important.
Yeah, and you mentioned a really good thing too about part of what can bring up your confidence is maybe we have people who are not used to speaking in public, or with a group of people, or introverts, or this kind of stuff. And I find that's one really good thing about networking that has pushed me so far out of my comfort zone, and the fact that, you need to get up and be able to speak for at least 60 seconds in front of people, whether it's online or in person. And it really helps build your public speaking skills and your ability to connect with audiences, which is so freaking important for our businesses.
Mm-hmm. I can remember sort of 15 years plus ago, if anybody had said to me, you'll be standing up and speaking, I'd have said never in a million years, because that was completely the opposite. I was painfully shy as a child. I'm still shy in certain scenarios. I'm an introvert, and I always used to see that as a real negative, that I should be more outgoing and what have you. And it weren't until I did more work on myself and personal development that I actually realised that that's who I am, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't need to be anything any different to what I am. But it takes you a long time to get to that point, because there's just that much sort of negativity that we put on ourselves, isn't there? And imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough and what have you. And they're all things that I like to work on with people in our groups. I just think I've come so far on my journey, and I just want that for everybody else that comes into our group.
Well, and I think that's what's important about networking events that do feel safe and stuff, because it actually supports you in getting out of that environment. Like you said, imposter syndrome. I used to be, oh my God, if you even thought about telling me to public speak, I'd be quaking in my shoes. I would lose my voice back then if when I right in school and stuff, I would you'd have to get up and do those speeches, you'd have to memorize and stuff like that. I would literally lose my voice. I mean, that's how much fear got in me of public speaking. Yeah, I could get in a group of people and I can make friends in the grocery store line, no problem. But tell me to get up front. And I found that's one thing about networking, because I mean, of course you could say no, but what's the point of going if you're going to say no? I mean, instead, go to one you trust, like your safe space, or pick the ones that feel good and get up there and actually do it. I mean, go for it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And don't you think you amaze yourself what capability you have actually got, and you do think I can't possibly do that, but just a bit of rehearsing and being prepared and just makes the world a difference, doesn't it? And you can.
Well, and I think we got to be okay with making mistakes. I mean, here it is. I've been doing this for a while, and got into a networking meeting right after I came back for Christmas, the holidays this year. And I completely flubbed my elevator speech. It was just like, it was gone. My brain was still on holiday. And I just had to laugh it off because I just got out there and it was just like, it was gone. It was just, I was twisting the words. And so I don't really think it matters how far you're in your business or the learning of all this, that sometimes you're still going to screw it up.
And that's it. We're all human, aren't we? And I think if anything, I've noticed more. I don't know about you. Since COVID, people are a bit more relaxed, aren't they, about things now? And like the way we all were in COVID, where you'd have your cat and your dog on your screen and what have you. And we are just that little bit more forgiving and understanding, aren't we? When people do make mistakes, and it's fine to make mistakes. That's how we learn, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I see we got Pauline here. She's saying great advice. Pauline, can you tell us about maybe some of your networking experiences in the comments? Jump in the conversation here. So what advice would you give to women or men, since we do have a male audience here too, who may be struggling with confidence, how can they use networking to help get over that?
Yeah, I think initially I think we tend to build up in our minds before we even start and go into networking, isn't it? We just have that fear of rejection, fear of putting ourselves out there, fear of not knowing enough and being found out and what have you.
You're gonna screw it up.
It is that sort of like, just be kind to yourself, and we're not that sort of scary place. There might be the odd one out there, but generally networking groups are very friendly places, and especially I think when there's new people coming along, I've always found generally that you get a very warm welcome, especially that you're sort of fresh meat, aren't you, really, than somebody new
I found the advanced members are willing to take a hand in there and guide you through as a newbie, and it really helps out. I mean, I've been to very few new networking events where somebody who was experienced in being at that particular one wasn't willing to step up and say, "Hey, how are you? Let me show you around," basically.
We've all been there, haven't we? We've all been the new person. So you just want to feel that what you wanted when you stepped out that first time, that there's somebody who's going to be there to welcome you and make you feel more comfortable. But I think for me as well, because of the shyness and the nervousness in the early days, just knowing what I was going into as well and what to expect, and the fact that I knew before I went into that very first one that I'd got to do a 60-second presentation. Thank goodness I knew, because had I have just turned up there and they say you've got to stand up and talk for a minute, I think I'd have turned around and run out the door. So I think just knowing what the format of the meeting is and what you're required to do can just help to sort of settle those nerves a little bit, so at least you go in feeling more prepared.
Yeah, and I always recommend to my clients, if they're getting ready to go to a new networking event, reach out and ask the event host what to expect.
Yeah,
because then you can prepare. I do this myself, because some you get in them and they want to be able to drop links, or they're going to allow you to drop certain things and certain types of information. So if I know ahead, which is why I ask, good tip for everybody, a little secret, ask ahead, and then I already have it all copied and pasted down. So it really helps. So Pauline is here. Let's see.
No, she's in Tenerife. She's got some sunshine as well.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, right. Yesterday, I'm jealous, Pauline. It's raining here where I'm at. And you already heard about Sharon. Man, she's cold. She's way colder than I am. I can't say anything. Networking plays a crucial role in business. It's a source of valuable knowledge, boosts confidence, and provides a platform to share and learn from others' experiences. I so agree with you on that, Pauline. I've learned so much from other people who've already done it. Let's see. So she's part of a couple, helped her massively in the face-to-face and online. She's grown so much in confidence. Yeah,
definitely. And I think especially starting out as well, going online is a less scary experience, isn't it, than walking into a room full of strangers. So I think, there is a real benefit to online networking. I love online networking because I just find it so much more convenient, so much better use of your time, and you can connect with people like we connected because of being online, whereas we may never have met otherwise, would we? So you can just reach a much wider network of people when you go into the online arena, rather than just local events where you're not going to meet those others. So
I forgot. We met at a networking meeting. You're totally right on that one. You also mentioned the time factor. I mean, don't get me wrong, in person does add another level that you don't get through online. But I really feel like with the right event host and stuff, that I go to some amazing online networks, and I still, the energy and the feeling like I truly was in the room with these people. With the right host and the right people there, it makes such a massive difference into the quality of. I'm fussy about what I attend now because of that.
I think when I think back to pre-COVID, I was doing all face-to-face networking, and sometimes I'd lose a whole day or half a day networking, and sometimes it'd only be attending one event, and you've lost nearly your whole day. And then it just really makes you reassess post-COVID what you're doing with your time and where you're spending it. And I don't do any more 5:30 a.m. get-ups to go to 7 o'clock breakfast meetings.
Oh, I know. And just even in travel time, and then being there, and then people want to get coffee after, and by the time you're done, like you said, your whole day is gone and it's just over. Whereas you get on a networking event online, and most of them are around 90 minutes, but you get on, in 90 minutes it's cutting off. And then, and like you mentioned the safety too of it feeling a little bit more, because you're on the screen, you can cut the camera off if you need to. It's not the same as in person where you can't just melt into the wall.
I mean, our group online has been going for over 3 years now, and there's women that have networked in there with our group who finally got to meet face to face before Christmas, and yet they felt as though they knew each other so well because we have built those strong relationships that it was hard to believe. Everybody was saying, "Oh, you're taller than I thought you were," or "You're smaller than I thought you were," but they had really built that relationship up and have got good friendships from it, without actually ever having met in person. So I think people that perhaps at first didn't think that we could build the relationships online, but I think people have realised that you certainly can.
You hit a major thing there that this is something I'm working to disprove, this disconnect between the in-person world and the online world. And I say in-person world and online world, not just the real world, because I consider it all the real world. And there's a real disconnect with people, even working with clients. And this is also a disconnect with being able to connect, creating content, and realizing this is a conversation with real people on the other side of the screen. This is going to have a real world impact on what you're doing. And you just really emphasize that with the networking, is that it's the same thing. I mean, there is this disconnect. We met online. There's still a little bit in our brain that hasn't connected with some people that this is a real human being. And that by the time you meet there, and that you can make real friends, like one of my best friends, I haven't met in person yet. Yet we've been amazing friends for well over 4 years now. I met you that way. I haven't met in person yet. We're friends.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize that the quality of online networking and stuff is the same as in person, if not, in a sense, maybe even more, because you have the opportunity to meet more often.
Yeah.
How has that impacted you in that aspect?
I agree. I do the occasional face to face, and it is nice to have that face to face interaction. But I just still do feel that there is so much benefit from online networking, and I am precious with my time, and because I like to flit off to Cyprus whenever I can, I can still work and still operate. Which again, pre-COVID, I was doing a lot of work face to face. I was running face to face networking events, so it wasn't possible to travel as much. Whereas when you do turn your business more online, it just opens up. It's that lifestyle, isn't it? Which is what I've prayed for a long time, which I've now been able to realise.
Yeah, I mean, I thrilled my clients and a couple of my events I ran, not, well, it was a year ago now, because I was doing them from a terrace where we were at in Italy with the backdrop. I was letting them have the whole view. My backdrop was just the Italians we were living in. And it is something that online gives you that in person, you're married to that spot. You got to be there. Whereas we can pick this up. You can run your networking event from Cyprus while you're on holiday if you want.
I do. I did last week. Yeah. I've had a coach. Been working with a coach for the last 12 months. She's from Antigua, and she does hers on her terrace. I have beautiful views of the sea and everything, palm trees, while she's running her coaching sessions. So yeah.
Every coach I've ever had has been from another part of the world. So yeah, I mean, and most of them I met through networking.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of my clients through networking. I think pretty much all of your clients have come through networking.
Yeah. And I think the big thing for me in the early days was that because I was doing a business support role where people were having to open up and share sort of their business with me, I think it was a case of having to meet that person to build that trust, because you're not necessarily at that point anyway would not sort of open up and say, yes, come and do run my business for me when I've never met you, don't know who you are. Whereas I think because of the trust that I was able to build through networking, either I'd be working directly with the person that I'd already met or built a strong enough relationship that they could confidently recommend me to other people. So yeah.
I think that's huge. I don't, and networking provides that safe space with no pressure that you can meet either the people you're going to hire or the people that are going to hire you. And I think that's really one of the important things to emphasize here is how important networking can be to your business, because like I said, I really feel it's such an underused tool for increasing your visibility, building credibility and authority. I'm going to be speaking in your group.
You are next week, yes.
Next week, because we met through networking, guys. I mean, I just want to point this out. I'm going to be doing a guest training for the women in her group next week, literally because we met through a networking event. She's here today because we met through a networking event. These are all opportunities that every single one of you can make for yourself. And they're easy opportunities. They didn't require a ton of our time, our effort. Unlike, I mean, let's just put this out. I mean, I do launching. Sharon, I know you launch here and there too. There's a lot of work goes into launching. Whereas you show up at a few networking events, have a good time, enjoy it, and get invited to these things that you're going to get clients from. You're going to get more cool collaborations and offers. And you do it all through while you're enjoying yourself, really.
And I think, as I say, mine are women-only events, but I think when you put women together in a group, it's amazing what sort of can come out of that when you're all like-minded. I mean, basically, I happened to say about 18 months ago, I was listening to everybody speaking in the group, and there was just that much knowledge and experience being shared that I just happened to say we should write a book. And Shelley, who's a book mentor, Shelley Wilson, who I know you know, she was in earshot, so that was it. She grabbed that, and yeah, so we actually wrote a book and launched it last October. So again, collaboration opportunities. It's amazing the collaborations that you can get from networking.
Yeah, and here you are now. You're a published author. I think you and 12 of you, I think it was.
Almost 20 of us all together.
Oh, 20.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
I knew there was a 2 in there, but so now, yeah. Hey, throw that up there again. That was too quick. Throw that up for everybody. Yeah. But look at that, guys. This is all from networking.
Yeah.
This happened. She is now a published author.
An Amazon bestseller as well to boot. Which again was something I never thought I could say.
Yeah, I mean, listen to this. I mean, exactly. Was it a dream to be an author at some point? Write a book?
Again, it was something that was never on my agenda, but I've now written in 3 books. So the other exciting thing, I've actually a featured part in, I don't know if you come across Wendy Garcars. She writes espionage novels. I won a competition, and her latest book that's just come out, which I'm reading at the moment, I'm actually a character in her book.
See, it's so awesome. That's so awesome. I really want to emphasize these opportunities for people that we've landed, because, guys, every single one of you can have the same opportunities, literally from networking, which is fun. And I mean, there is a strategy to doing it, to making sure you get actual value out of them. You're not just showing up to any old meeting and getting those same results, but it's truly amazing. I mean, I literally, every single networking meeting I go to now, I get leads, I get clients, or I get speaking opportunities, and I make some amazing friends. And you mentioned the energy and the collaboration of being in the room with people with like-minded. And I agree. I mean, being in a room with women who are going, but I've also been in a room mixed with men and women. It was the summit last night. It was men and women. The energy was absolutely amazing. I'm still buzzing from it today, of feeling like, whoa, I can do anything. And another person who does that with networking events is Laura Burton's, whose networking session is happening next week. I don't know if you're signed up for that. If not, I'll get you a link.
Yes, I'm a link to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but last time in December, she had over 70 women there. And I just got off, and the call, it just was like, I mean, you're just like floating on air of how amazing this powerful energy is that comes from all of these people that are doing what you do, that are striving in that direction. And you just come away feeling so supported. And you've met new friends. You've maybe made clients. I got off a collaboration chat today with one of the ladies I met in that December meeting, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, all this happened because of networking.
And I think the big thing is that there's so many women, and one of my goals this year is to try and find those women who are sat at home running a business on their own and just don't have that support around them. They could be struggling, whether it's confidence or just not feeling that they know enough or have enough business skills. And it is just really trying to, my aim this year is to get out to those people and just let them know the benefits of networking and what opportunities there are, just to feel supported. Because like you touched on at the beginning, you're not always, your family, your parents aren't always don't always understand what it's like to be a solopreneur and some of the struggles and challenges and what have you. So just being able to be in a group of people who do understand how you feel just makes a massive difference.
Yeah, because you feel like you're not alone. You realize you're not alone. You're not the only one with that particular problem. You know, there's one of the most empowering things I think I've ever experienced is understanding that other people have already been there, done that, had the problem. But when you're working by yourself in your business, it can often feel so lonely and like you are the only person. In a good networking group like yours or some of the others I've been to can really make you realize you don't have to go it alone.
No, absolutely. No.
Such a good place to end this. I think so. You don't have to do it alone. Get some networking going, people.
Right.
If you want to join Sharon's group, it's for the ladies. Sorry, guys. In this case, this was not for you, but all these tips today can be used for you, or if you have a strong woman in your business, in your life that needs some support in their business. Check out Sharon's group, her WBN group on Facebook. I've already dropped the link in under the live on LinkedIn. So just click. It's her free group.
For the free community, yeah. So
yes, the community. She has a paid membership, so you can find out more about that from her in the group. But you can also just be part of the free group, which I happen to be there as well. It's a great community. I just want to mention as a teaser that you guys keep an eye out for the announcement of my upcoming masterclass, which is going to be the networking strategy I dropped in the summit last night. And it's a strategy that delivers leads, clients, speaking gigs from every event I attend. More on that coming up. And then if you haven't connected with Sharon, please do.
Yes,
and please provide some support and for dropping all these amazing tips here with us today. If you couldn't join live, you've got questions, #replay, drop them in the comments. Let us know you're here. We'll stop back by and answer them. And Sharon, what's one last thought you'd like to leave us with today?
I think where we finished off, that the biggest thing for me is that you don't have to go it alone. Just if you get the right support, you'll amaze yourself what you can actually go on to achieve and the confidence that you can get from networking. If I, as a shy introvert who was quaking in my boots at that first networking, I'm now a multi-award winning networking founder and host, then if I can do it, anybody can. So yeah, come and connect with me, and I'd love to talk to you more about networking. I can talk all day about networking.
You and me both. We love it. I mean, it's such an amazing tool with social selling, and that is so important. So, guys, make sure you connect with Sharon. And thank you so much for being here today, Sharon.
Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
And ciao for now, everyone. And I will see you next